Hello everyone, this is me Gavnexl. I'm back again with another video on this channel. So today in this video I'm gonna show you guys how to make a subscribe animation for your YouTube channel easily using Adobe After Effects. So in this video I'm gonna show you guys that. So without wasting much time, let's jump straight into the video and let me show you guys that right now. So first of all, I want to tell you guys one thing, that for this video we don't need any Photoshop design file. So I'm just gonna make this thing using Adobe After Effects from scratch. So we'll design and animate in Adobe After Effects and we don't need any design preset or Photoshop file. So this is really easy. So first of all, we have to just jump straight into Adobe After Effects. So as you can see right over there, I'm on my After Effects. So then we have to create a composition. So if you make 4K videos, then you will be needing to make a 4K composition. But if you make Full HD videos, then you can make a Full HD composition. You can rename the composition right now, or you can even change the name after you're done with everything. And then what you have to do, you have to make sure that you select 60 frames per second if you want to get the highest frame rate. So after that, you have to select your duration. So I think I will go with 10 seconds. So then create the composition. So after creating this composition, we're going to go to the project, you right click and click on new composition and set the width to 600 and the height to 400, and then we will get something like this. So after that, what we have to do, we have to create a rectangular. So select the rectangular tool and just create a rectangular something like this, and then expand the rectangular settings, and after that just go to the rectangular path and then just increase the roundness to something like this. So as you can see, it is looking like something like this. Then select your shape and make sure the color is white so that it is looking something like this. So if you go to the main comp and if we drag the second comp, then we will see something like this. So we can always change the size by hitting S and changing the scale. We can make it something like this, and then as you can see, it is looking pretty much great. So after that, what we need to do, we have to go to the second comp and then we have to animate this over here. So we're gonna do most of the works over here. So first of all, I'm just gonna animate this one. So select the layer and then hit P on your keyboard, and then we are going to change this value this time, which is 200. So then what you have to do, you have to drag it down to something over here, as you can see, somewhere like this. Then create a keyframe and then go maybe 1 second and then select the value, which is 200, and then as you can see, it is over there. So if we play that, then we will get an animation like this. So make sure to easy ease the keyframes. Just select the keyframes, right click and go to keyframe assistant and then click on easy ease, then go to graph editor and then change the graph to something like this. And make sure to check that if your graph is set to edit speed graph. If it's not, then select this option and then you will see something like this and make the graph something like that. So let's watch the animation. So as you can see, it will be something like this. So right now we are going to add the text and our logo. So for that, what you have to do, you just have to create a shape layer. So on that, we're going to place our logo. So I'm going to create a ellipse shape layer. So select your rectangular tool, hit Q until you get ellipse. You have to just drag a shape something like this. So I'm going to create a shape like that and then make sure the fill color is set to something different, maybe something like this. So then you'll get this thing somewhere there. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna animate that as well. So when it is somewhere near about there, I'm just gonna also get the position settings of this layer. So I'm gonna hit P, then it's gonna show something like this. So as you can see, this is also 200. So we are going to drag it down, as you can see, maybe somewhere about there, and then we're gonna create a keyframe. Then we'll move somewhere near about there, and then we're gonna set the value to 200. So then as you can see, if we see that, we will get something like this. And then what we have to do, we have to select the keyframes, then right click, easy ease, and then go to the graph editor and make it something like this. So then as you can see, we'll get animation. So that is looking pretty great. So then as you can see, we will get something like this. If you want, you can add a drop shadow, but I'm not gonna add that right now. If you want, then you can just go to effect and presets, search for a drop shadow, and then you can pretty much easily apply the drop shadow on this one. So then we're gonna animate our logo. So right now what we have to do, we have to import our logo. So I'm just gonna right now import the logo. So after importing your logo, just put it in your composition and then you'll see something like this. So what we have to do, we have to scale it down. So hit S and then make sure to scale it down. So we have to change this logo's color. So for that we are going to search for an effect which is called fill. Then select the fill from generate and drag it over your logo, and then you will see something like this. So we're going to change its color to maybe black, and then we are going to drag the logo on top of this layer. So I think white looks pretty good with this, so I'm gonna give it a white, and then I'm gonna scale it down a little bit as well, and then I can always use my arrow keys to position it wherever I want. So as you can see, it will look something like this. So we are also going to animate this as well. So when it is somewhere about there, I'm just gonna also animate that. So I'm just gonna hit P after selecting the logo. So then it will bring out the position, so which is 202. So we have to remember the value, so we have to just take it somewhere near about there, and then we have to create a keyframe, then maybe go somewhere over there and hit 202. So as you can see, it will create animation like that. So after that, just select the keyframes, easy ease, and then go to the graph editor and make the graph something like this. So if we play the animation, we will see something like this. So as you can see, it is looking pretty good. So you can see right now, as you can see, it is looking very amazing. So after that, we're going to add our text. So as you can see right over there, here we got our animation. So right now let's add the text. So first of all, I'm gonna add my channel's name and make sure that it has a black color, or you can go with other colors as well, like something like this, or maybe red, whichever you prefer. This will look good. And then just select your text and make it larger, something like this. So you can drag it over here. So as you can see, it will say Gavnexl, and then we're going to add our text beneath that. So you can position it over here, and then we can see the animation. So we are going to add this type of animation over here again. So when it's somewhere near about there, I'm just gonna hit P to bring out position, and then I'm gonna animate that as well. So I have to remember the value, which is also 202. So I'm gonna drag it down to something like this, and then I'm gonna create a keyframe, then move over somewhere near about there, and I'm gonna set it to 202. So then as you can see, it is back again. Select the keyframes, then just easy ease, and then go to graph editor and do the same. So then you will get something like this. So as you can see, this is looking pretty perfect. So now we are going to add our slogan or our text, what we want to say. So for that, we are going to create another text layer, and then we're gonna add whatever we want to say. So select the text and make sure that this one is at thin so that it looks good. So we have to scale it down as well. So you can use the scale, or you can even use the text properties if you want. Just double click and select the text and make sure the text property is something like this. So then drag it somewhere about there. So as you can see, this is looking pretty perfect, but I think it is too light. So we will change this thin, maybe light, so then it will look great. So when this Gavnexl arrives over here, we are going to create a position keyframe of this text. So hit P and remember the value, which is 278. So we will drag it somewhere about there. We're going to create a keyframe, and then we will move somewhere about there, and then we're going to set it to 278 again. So as you can see, it is over there. Just select both of the keyframes, then just easy ease, and then do the graph settings as you know. So if we play that animation, then we will see something like this, which is looking very perfect. So after we're done animating this thing, we're going to create our subscribe button. So for that, what do we have to do? We have to right click, and then we have to create a new shape layer. So after creating the shape layer, select the rectangular tool. If it's not in rectangular, then hit Q until it is at rectangular, and then create a rectangular something like this. So then just expand the rectangular setting and rectangular path, and then just increase the roundness to something like this until it looks like a subscribe button, and then you can check it out if it's perfect or not. As you can see, it is looking pretty good to me. So now we have to animate that as well. So just hit P after selecting the shape layer to animate the position. So I'm gonna do something like this. So as you can see, when it's over here, I'm just gonna create a keyframe, so it is also 200. So drag it down to something like this, then create a keyframe, then go to somewhere near about there and then give it 200, and then as you can see it is back. Then just select the keyframes, then right click and click on easy ease and then make it something like this. So then if you play that, we will see something like this, as you can see. So we have to also add the text. So what we have to do, we have to go somewhere maybe about there, and then we have to create a text which will say subscribe. So you have to create a text which is subscribe, and then make sure that it is at normal or regular. I will select medium. I think bold will look good, and make sure that its color is white so it is visible. Use your moving tool and move it somewhere near about there, and make sure the text size is pretty smaller so that it will fit inside this rectangular. So I think I'll make it more smaller so that it looks more good. Select your moving tool and make it something like this. So then as you can see, you can always use your arrow keys to position it if it's not in the center. Then we are going to animate that as well. So we have to select the text and then hit P to bring out the position keyframe, and then I'm just gonna match it with the shape which we have created with the subscribe. So when it is near about there, I'm just gonna change this property and I'm gonna bring it to somewhere near about there. So as you can see, this is the shape, subscribe shape, and then I'm just placing the text in the middle, and then I'm just gonna create a keyframe over there, and then I'm gonna go somewhere over there, and I'm gonna select 216, which will bring it to the middle. Then just select the keyframes and then right click, keyframe assistant easy ease, and then make sure the graph is matching something like this, so you'll see animation like that. So as you can see, it is looking pretty much perfect, and then let's move for the next animation. So after that, what we are going to do, we are going to create a bell icon. So for creating the bell icon, you can just pretty much easily get a bell icon image from the internet, and then you can use it to make something like this. So I have already downloaded a bell image which I'm going to use. So as you can see, here are the two bell icons that I'm going to use. So I'm just going to drag it inside of the composition. So then as you can see, it's showing something like this. So we have to scale it down to maybe something like this, and then we have to take it over there. I think I will scale it down more. Yeah, it is looking pretty perfect. We can always use our arrow keys to position it wherever we want. So then I think this is looking pretty perfect. So we have to animate that as well. So first I will have to animate this bell without it is clicked. So I have to animate that as well. So I'm gonna make it sure that it is matching the properties with the subscribe. So I'm just gonna expand the keyframes of the subscribe, just the position. So as you can see, so we are going to somewhere near about there, and then we have to see it is 10. So we have to make sure that we are on the position properties of our bell icon as well. So we have to select the bell icon, and then I'm just gonna hide this one and hit P to see the value, so which is also 200. So what we have to do, we have to create a keyframe over here, and then we have to drag it down to something like this. So as you can see, I am matching this with the shape, and then I will go somewhere near about there, and I'm gonna make it 200 again. So as you can see, it will create animation like this. I'll select the keyframes, right click, and then keyframe assistant easy ease, and then I'm gonna make it something like this. So as you can see, if we see it, then it will show something like this. So now we are going to create the click effect. So for that, we will be needing a mouse. So you can just download any mouse PNG from Google or wherever you want. You can just pretty much easily download that and can import it on your project. So as you can see, I have dropped my mouse on my project. So you can use any mouse. You can just Google it, and then you can just find any image which you can use as your mouse. So we're going to animate that as well. So if you want, then you can scale it a little bit down. So then as you can see, it is something like this, and then we are pretty much perfect to animate that. So when it is like somewhere near about there, we are going to start animating this. But the thing I want to tell you guys that for this animation, we will be needing both scale and position keyframes at the same time. So for that, I'm just gonna expand that, and as you can see, you'll see all of the animation keyframes available. So we are going to keep it like that. So after that, what we have to do, we have to select the position keyframe, which is near there. So just hit and create a position keyframe. You have to take it out of the frame, and then you have to create a position keyframe. And then what you have to do, you have to move a few seconds, maybe somewhere like that, and then you have to just drag it to something like this, and then you have to point it after the subscribe. I think you can even change the curve to something like this, so then you will see an animation like this. So as you can see, it will come like this, and then it will rotate a little bit, and then it will go over there. So then select the keyframes, then right click, and then click on easy ease, and then you will see something like this. I will also make sure to give it a graph something like this. So then as you can see, it will be something like this. So after that, what we have to do, we have to animate the click. So when it's somewhere near about there, just select the scale keyframe and then just create a keyframe right now. Move a few frames, and then you have to create another keyframe. Just drag the scale a little bit down, something like this, and then go back to somewhere maybe near about there and select it to 60 again. So then as you can see, you will get animation like this. So you will also have to easy ease those keyframes, and then we have to make it the graph something like this. You can zoom in if you want to see this thing, just drag it something like this. So then as you can see, if we play that animation right now, then as you can see, it will click over there. So after we are done till this, we have to move our mouse so that it will click the bell as well. So for that, what we have to do, we have to create a position keyframe, maybe somewhere near about there, then move a few seconds, and then just use your moving tool and drag this to the notification to something like this. So as you can see, it will go over there something like this. I think I will give it a more of an absence between the keyframes, so then it will go pretty slow to something like this. So after it is over here, I'm just going to do the same. I'm just going to create the effect click as well. So just create a scale keyframe, move a little bit further, and then change the value to 50, and then move a little bit again, and then change the value to 60 again. So then you'll get a click like this. So we are almost done making our thing. So as you can see, it is looking pretty perfect to me right now. So as you can see, if you see that, it is giving us the perfect click. We have to change the color of these things, and we have to make the bell fill so that it looks that it has been clicked. So to fill this thing, what we have to do, we have to place our second bell before the first bell, and then make sure it is visible. Get to there where it is clicking the bell, and then you have to displace the frame to something like this. So if we play that right now, so as soon as it is clicking, it is changing. So then we have to do with the subscribe thing as well. So we have to just duplicate the subscribe layer, Command D or Control D, and then you can just place it after this. So as you can see, it is somewhere maybe near about there, and you have to change the fill color to something like this. So then as you can see, it says that we are subscribed right now. So we have to duplicate the subscribe text as well, and then we have to make it subscribed. So then as you can see, now it says we are subscribed. Then position it in the middle. So in this case, I'm just gonna like decrease the value, and as you can see, it will show something like this. So after duplicating all these layers, what we have to do, we have to clear the keyframes. So just go back and then just delete the keyframes. As you can see, the keyframes that we made, just select the keyframes and delete the keyframes for the duplicate layer. So after deleting the keyframes, what we have to do, we have to place these. As you can see, this one's the black one. So we have to place them over there. So when it is being clicked, it will change the color and the subscribed as well. Take it over here, as you can see right over there, and you can make the subscribe text. So then as you can see, when it is somewhere near about there, so if we see that animation right now, hide all of the keyframes, and then right now I'm just gonna see the animation. So as you can see, it says subscribed, and as you can see, That's how pretty much easily we get our animation. So one thing we have to do, we have to cut the subscribe layer to somewhere about near there, and then I'm just gonna go to opacity from the transform. So I have to create opacity keyframe. So then as you can see, I have to create opacity, then I'm gonna make it 0, and then I'm gonna go frames back, and then I'm gonna make it 100. So then if we see the animation right now, then it will show us something like this. So as you can see, it is looking very smooth and very great. So now we have to animate the mouse so that it will go out of the screen after it has clicked all of these. So we have to go to the position keyframe and create another keyframe, then go a little bit further and then create another keyframe and use your moving tool and drag it out of the screen, something like this. So then if we see, it will go something like this. So I'm gonna add absence between these keyframes, so then it will go slower. So as you can see, if we play the animation right now, it is pretty much perfect. So now when we return to our main composition, if we play that, so then as you can see, it is showing something like this. So then it is looking pretty much perfect. So after that, what we have to do, we have to see the keyframes, which is 863. So I'm going to create a keyframe over there and I'm going to drag it out of the screen. I'm going to go to 30 frames and then 856. So then as you can see, it is back over there. So as you can see, it will look something like this. I think I will give it a like 1 second 30 frames delay. So then as you can see, it is looking something like this. And then make sure to easy ease these keyframes as well and make the keyframe go something like this. So then you'll see an animation like that. So what I'm gonna do after it is done doing this, I'm just gonna make it go back. So I'm just gonna create a keyframe over there. I'm gonna go maybe something near about there and I'll match the value, which is 1250. So then as you can see, if we play the animation, it will show us something like this, which is looking pretty perfect. And now what you can do, you can pretty much easily add a drop shadow if you want that. So I'm just gonna add a drop shadow. So I'm gonna go to effects and preset, and then I'm just gonna search for drop shadow, drag the drop shadow to your composition, and then set the distance to 0 and give it a 150 of softness. So then as you can see, you will see something like this, which is looking very great. So as you can see, that's how we can create the subscribe animation for our YouTube channel. So if you guys did enjoy this video, then make sure to leave a like and comment down below if you want to say something, and you'll get this preset file in the link in the description. If I'm able to upload that, then I'll surely upload that file so that you guys can pretty much easily download this After Effects file and can edit it and use it for your channel or whatever you want. And then one thing I forgot to tell you guys is that make sure to rename everything so that you could work pretty much perfectly, so that nothing is missed. So that was the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, then make sure to subscribe for more awesome and helpful videos in the future. So that was the video, guys. As always, enjoy. See you guys in the next video.